Hey everybody, I'm Zafir. Welcome back to No Love Lost 2.0, and today I got Mario on here with me. Diddy do it? So that's what we want to talk about. This case with Diddy is all over the news and all over social media. So we want to get into having a conversation about what's the difference between consent voluntarily and involuntarily, because Cassie's saying a lot of things out here and there's a lot of different perspectives. Some women are not supporting her, some women are. Some people saying, how could you do that for 11 years? And not only that, with her husband sitting in the courtroom, and I'm sure he already knows all this information $20 million later, but we have to really think about it. She admittedly openly said that she was sleeping with her now husband before they were married and Diddy at the same time. So as well as Diddy actually paying her now husband at the time to be her trainer, whatever the case may be. So I just want to talk about it and get some different perspectives on it. So I decided to bring Mario on. So what are you thinking about all this Diddy stuff, Mario?
First off, bro left the courtroom because he couldn't even actually hear it happen. As far as with their wife. So how I look at it now, bro, I still can say that Diddy can get out of it. Let's just be real.
From these 4 days?
From these 4 days, I don't see racketeering. For me personally, I see a lot of consent. I see a lot of freaky stuff going on. I also see a lot of, like she enjoyed it. And that's something I have to sit back.
Not all of it.
To sit there for 11 years, you have to enjoy something.
No, I definitely think she's down with the freaky stuff.
Yeah,
but we also have to admit that if we had daughters and they were 19 messing with a man that was 30-something, 30, what was he, 35 or 37?
35.
Yeah, okay. So with that being said, it is very easy for somebody's mind to be manipulated at that age.
We can say that, yes, but you got to think about it. The lifestyle that what she wanted. She didn't want anybody else to be within that place or whatever, so that way she could actually be still in that lifestyle. She could have left. See, think about it.
She did leave at one point.
She left,
and then he brought her, and he also had brought her back at different times.
Look, my thing is this, and this is how I want to say it. We see piss coming, we won't.
As somebody who has
she saw piss coming, she
before, that's true. Legally,
but that's how far as how I look.
I understand they had the right to move, but they lay there and let me do that to them, right? So with the Diddy situation, the fact that she was getting pissed on and he was on FaceTime watching it. And, yes, he may have orchestrated it. This is where the crime comes in. The orchestration of paying escorts and paying people and soliciting sex. That's the crime. And then not only that, it didn't happen in one state. It happened in multiple states. That's why this is a federal case, because right now his court case is in New York, right?
Yeah.
But mind you, some of this stuff happened in Los Angeles too. That's why that's why he has federal charges.
Right.
The racketeering is coming from crossing state lines. Now, mind you, if he would have did this only in the state of New York,
he'd been straight.
I think he still would have been in trouble, but he wouldn't have been in. It wouldn't have been racketeering and federal.
Right.
Now, if he was forcing her, and the money exchange is where everything is.
But that's where I'm at still. That's all I'm saying. Still, she's still considered. She hosts those parties.
Correct. And I definitely believe she enjoyed it somewhat, because she did go back and say that even while she was dating her now husband, that she voluntarily would go back and have relations with Diddy, and that, they had a good night, they had a good time. And then she had a lot of UTIs, and she didn't talk about the STIs, but girl, ain't no way you was sleeping with people from Craigslist.
Craigslist.
That's a throwback, because they were selling poom poom on Craigslist back in the day. So I believe her. You found your dog off of Craigslist? I don't know if I ever found nothing off of Craigslist. I think I looked for apartments on Craigslist.
Probably, but she found bumps. So anyway, back to what I'm saying.
Lord, sores in the mouth.
If you got sores in the mouth like that, and you're talking about medicine and stuff like that, they didn't even help anymore. You get what I'm saying? But how can you look at Diddy and feel like that he's wrong like that? I don't know.
I think Diddy is wrong because, like one of the escorts, it's only 4 days in or a few days in, whatever, by the time I listen to this, and the escort did say, like, he was like, why don't you leave this dude? Because he beat her right in front of the escort.
I mean,
now, when it comes to the domestic violence part, now, the reason why he can't be charged for that situation is because the time period, the statute of limitations.
Right.
Not only that, when that video was recorded versus, not only that, they've been apart for 7 years now. Okay, so with her getting the $20 million, I think it was justified. I do.
But getting your ass beat.
Yeah, 20 million, actually 100 million. If you almost a billionaire, he would have almost been a billionaire. But he was smart because he knew this was coming because he started moving his companies out of his name years ago. Actually, not even like within the last year or two, like years ago, he took his houses out his name. It was like years ago. He did this.
A bunch of his sons,
his sons and his daughters. And his mother's, the companies is really, so basically he, on paper, he is not a millionaire.
No, he's
technically, and he did that so that even if he does go down, his family is going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Now that I understand, but was Diddy wrong? Yes, Diddy was wrong. But at the same time, I don't really know. I don't know. Like me being a Scorpio and Diddy being a Scorpio, and I think back to Jocelyn Hernandez and Stevie J from Love and Hip Hop. They did some. Yeah, but I'm like, as a Scorpio man, and I know everything ain't got to do with zodiac sign. I'm just, I can't share my partner. Like if I'm doing a threesome, I have done threesomes. I've done group play. I've done sex parties, but all that was never with nobody I was in a relationship with.
But you also never got peed on though.
No, I have been peed on. I told you that.
Yeah, but
I told you Maurice.
Not to an extent though. What they doing? Nobody.
No, Maurice. Like he like okay. So
in the shower.
No. This is what he was doing. He liked to jerk off on me sometimes, and I don't mind it. And so because it ain't in my mouth or face. It's like he like to jerk off and sit there. He don't fuck me, but he like to jerk off on my butt or whatever, right? So one time he was doing that, and I said, "What the fuck was that?" Because it shot up to my shoulder.
Oh. And
I'm a tall guy, y'all. I'm almost 6'3". So, and my nigga 5'6". So I'm like, I know you. That don't feel like no cum. That feel like pee. It was real wet, and cum is wet, but it's thicker, And so
was it hot? Hot on your shoulder?
Ooh, it was warm. I felt it. It driggled up my shoulder. It was literally from my shoulder, my right shoulder down to my butt crack was pee. And I was like, oh, never. I was like, so when you say she could have moved, I would have moved if I was.
But this is like looking straight at you.
Oh, yeah. She said, and then when she said she choked on them both peeing in her mouth, that almost made me sick. Because when I have peed on people in encounters, and obviously, it wasn't nothing crazy. It was just the two of us.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't say open your mouth. I said, I always pee chest down.
Yeah.
Because I feel like peeing on somebody's face is just, it's supposed to be good for the skin.
But no. So this is as far as why I draw the line at. Like you said, right? I don't like to share. We can't even look at somebody else doing something far as
running a train on somebody is different from sharing your girl. That's a whole different situation.
Yeah, it is though, but I don't care. There's no amount of money in this world that I'm gonna look at it and be like, you know what? I'm finna share you at these parties. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm about to get away far as with the shit. My thing is, look, she's a beautiful woman. We all can't deny that. She's a beautiful woman. But at the same time, I feel like women make mistakes and stuff like that, right? Only reason why, because they enjoy the lifestyle, they enjoy the money, they enjoy the fact that, hey, I'm actually doing something that I couldn't be doing before. So, yeah, you moved on or whatever, right? But you still, before you came back and got that money, right?
That's true. And a lot of people, so far, we haven't got testimony from party goers yet, but a lot of people who, so far, we're right now just laying the foundation. I feel like they're laying the foundation for the case. And because he can't be charged for Cassie's situation in the sense of the domestic violence, right? But the racketeering is where they're laying the foundation.
So do you feel like that? I feel like he's going to get jail time.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that. But some of these charges or whatever.
Some of these charges are definitely going to, I think some of the charges will come off, but Diddy's going to jail. But he's staying in jail. But he's going to go to, right now he in Brooklyn. But he's going to be going to the federal. He's going to be going to the feds then.
Okay. So how do you feel about that baby?
I really don't understand that.
A blow up pool.
With piss in.
No. She bought a blow up pool. She told him to go get a blow up pool and fill it up with baby oil.
But then he said it wasn't enough.
He said it wasn't enough, and it was dry. Oil parts.
But also, they peed in it too, because they said that sometimes they would do these things at these hotels and stuff, and they would have. That's why they had the pools. It was, the oil and stuff from messing stuff up, and like the way he beat her on that video in that elevator, it was definitely a situation where that girl was definitely in a traumatic experience. I definitely think she deserved the money. Do I think she enjoyed her role in it? To an extent, yes. But I think it got to a point where she was in over her head.
Yeah.
And sometimes, people would think they have control over situations they really have no control over. And I think that was what happened with her.
So basically, you feel like he took advantage of a young woman.
Yes.
That's what happened.
And this isn't his first time. She's not the first person before her. They're saying that Kim, I don't know her name. Kim. And it's like this for me. I feel like this with the Kim Porter situation. We don't fully know what was going on with that as well. But for her daughters, her twin daughters, her son, and Quincy, and all of them to sit in that courtroom, I know this is a situation that's definitely hard for them to hear. But for him to have all these daughters and him just having a baby girl 2-3 years ago, why and then I'm looking at Young Miami sideways too. Because they say he had a fetish with white nails.
Yeah.
And that's why Cassie always wear white nails. And then they end up bringing up photos of Kim Porter with the white nails. Then Young Miami started wearing their white nails. And Young Miami was talking about the piss situation. Now I'm starting to think, was Young Miami sitting in pools, in hotels, getting pissed on? What you think?
Probably. I will say that too, though. Maybe.
Do you think? Or do you think it was a situation where he figured he couldn't do that with her?
I feel like she probably was that woman that actually fight back. That's how I look at it. Because when you look at Kim Porter compared to Cassie, Cassie was kind of light skinned. She on that lighter scale. I feel like they don't want to fight back. I feel like that Miami, she was kind of out there more in, like you said, more in the public.
Because she was definitely way out there. But he was also with J-Lo. And J-Lo, I don't think, no, he didn't. But they also said that they knew that he couldn't do that with J-Lo.
Hell no. You seen her in enough.
That's not why, but I think the superstardom that she already had prior to him was another reason why it was just like it. But with Cassie, it was a different situation. It was a young girl. She was easy to manipulate, easy to control, and then, but you got to think about it like this: people be in cults, right?
Right.
We have worked with people in cults and not even knowing it, because you have to think about it. They have that willpower mentally so strong over them that they will send them out to work. They will send them out and not worry about them running away, because they know they have that control for them to come home. I actually watched the movie, to jump off topic, with this girl. It was like 3 girls. They were kidnapped since they was teenagers. They were housemaids for a company, but the owner kidnapped them years ago. Yes, this happened in the 90s. And guess what? He had them so controlled. They went and cleaned houses for him and made him money and brought it back and came back, when grocery shopping, had his babies, all of that. But you know why? Because Kanye West said it before. He said slavery was a choice. I didn't agree with him far as the choice word, but I think what he meant was, what I took from it was, mental slavery is more dangerous than physically.
Yeah.
And I think that with Cassie, it was a mental. She was like mentally enslaved, because it was like, this is what I know. This is how I live. This is how I survive. He owns my music.
Yeah.
He owns my modeling. Everything he owns, anything I get is from him.
So why not still, regardless of what you...
Well, exactly. Well, but once you just said it. We just said it. Mental slavery will have you captive to the fact that you believe that you're in bondage. Mental slavery sometimes is worse than physical pain, because it leaves a lineage of pain that will literally control and dictate how you live in life.
So let me ask you this then, right? She at least... I mean, did you at least...
I believe she has, of course. And we seen Tina Turner. Yeah. We seen when she got tired of Ike getting hit on her.
Did you see when he yanked her back?
Yeah, Diddy, come on, man. You was doing too much, Sean. I'm not calling you Diddy no more. Sean, you was doing too much. You out of control, Sean. He did it. What you mean did he do it? The escort said he did. Man, different situations of different escorts are saying he did it. He ain't. That's not gonna save him. It didn't save Epstein. Yeah, I think that
Epstein was wrong.
Yeah, oh no,
Epstein was wrong,
and Diddy is too.
Nah.
Epstein had an island. Diddy had every state in every.
But then again, look at it like this too, right? Regardless of how we look,
There was consensual stuff. Because there were people at his sex parties who said that they went, they consented, and they had a good time.
Exactly.
But they're not calling those witnesses. But I'm sure the defense will when it's their turn.
And that's what I'm saying. Just because we're on the fourth day, like you said, right? Once it gets deep far and into it, they're going to cross-examine Cassie. They're going to ask more questions far as like, why didn't you just leave? Why didn't you just do this? You had every opportunity to walk out the door, call the police, do what you had to do, and yet you didn't.
Well, I think they did. The prosecution had asked her at one point that question, and she said that Sean would come to find her when she would leave, or he would come find her, or he'll send somebody. She said he sent assistants, security guards. She said she talked about how when she was dating Kid Cudi, because she even said she was like, "Oh no, we weren't exclusive."
Yo, and then he blew the car up. Nigga.
That's some Diddy shit.
That's some. This recent.
Is this Biggie situation? No, that ain't recent. But no, is this Biggie?
They said his car literally got blew up
again.
Yes.
A second time?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, I didn't know that. No, I'm just saying.
It's on the shade.
I'm saying. Now, well, she said that Sean was involved. I believe it. Now, yes. Hell yeah, that's I'm. Hold on. Ooh, I'm gonna have to tell you. I don't want to forget. I'll tell you later. Oh, I believe it. I believe it. That I believe it. But also, she said they weren't exclusive. But so we can go back to like you said. So if you weren't exclusive, why was you doing this?
Exactly.
But he was also fun in that lifestyle. So you have to take some responsibility too, Cassie, which I'm sure she has, because she said she did trauma therapy and stuff like that. But truthfully, I do feel for her. Truthfully, I don't feel for Diddy. I'm not on Diddy's side. I feel like Diddy's going to jail, but I feel like some of these charges gotta go because legally they can't be proven. That's how I feel.
I don't think he can still be in prison right now just because you found a lot of baby oil.
Well, they did offer him a plea deal, but we don't know the contents of that plea deal.
Less oil.
I don't know. See, that baby oil situation, baby oil to a pool of it. That's just okay. Like what the fuck? I'm not talking about Meek Mill. I'm not talking about Meek Mill. I'm just saying, in the diddler.
Listen, what he said at that party, you looking good in that pool, daddy. Come on, man. Ain't no way I'm finna let another man call me daddy at no party. As a straight man, I'm telling you,
I can't say nothing else because how about this? As a gay man, I don't want no man calling me daddy but my man. Like in my child, in my child.
The only time daddy is literally in that room. You know what I'm saying?
That too, and just daddy around the house.
All right, cool. But when they say, all right, also you sneeze, how would you want them to greet you? Me, I would like mine to be like, bless you, my sweet king. I'm sorry.
Marie said, bless you, baby.
It's so basic. But anyway, we're definitely jumping.
I feel like I'm going to continue to cover this because I feel like there's definitely more that's going to come out that's worth talking about. I feel like the racketeering case the foundation is Cassie. But when they start building the house, right, it's gonna get crazy.
But I feel like that house got evidence.
Oh no. The reason why Diddy's definitely going to jail. Let me explain why, in my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. But the reason, in my opinion, why is because it is openly admitted that people were paid. That alone, he's getting charged for. And the reason why is because prostitution is illegal. Now, remind you, in other countries, prostitution is legal. Like, I don't know if it's in China or there's other countries where they have, because guess what? They tax on it.
Yeah.
So, now, the government, I don't think we ain't get paid from it. But real talk, a lot of things become legal once they're taxable. Yeah. So if you can legally sell ass and sex and that type of thing, what kind of revenue would that bring? I'm not saying to do it, but the truth is, what kind of revenue would that bring if it was a situation where $150 for the hour, okay, and you're taxed on it. So let's say 8% tax on $150. You're going to pay maybe $15, $14 in tax, $7, something like that, whatever, right? Okay. So the government will be here for it because they'll see that jump in revenue, right? But because he paid people and the government didn't get their cut, he going to jail.
Okay, so how I look at it like, right? Would you?
Yes, I would have. I would have went there.
So you say
I did it. if Diddy called me to the jail now and I wasn't married and he was giving me some money, depending on how much,
And the
he can't fuck me because I don't play that like shit.
And the lifestyle.
As long as I ain't getting fucked and it's legal and everybody is a willing
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so cool. So you have a choice.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna leave. After I get my $1 million from Diddy pissing on my leg. Because you can pee on my pinky toe for $1 million. I ain't gonna lie. $1 million, hit that toe right there, Diddy. No.
So what it comes down to it is this, man.
No, we better
wrap it up. So look, one thing I always sit back and say is never let.
Oh, guess what? Everybody knows that already. I say it on this podcast as well. If you support me and listen more, you would hear your saying said on this podcast actually quite often. To put you in.
Back to what I just said, right? See what I'm saying? See, I get interrupted. It's been a while. And I was like, I get interrupted. But it's all right. It's all love, though. That's his thing. One love.
And never forget to subscribe, like, and share. No Love Lost 2.0 is on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. You can stream the episodes on all those platforms as well as YouTube as well. Sometimes it takes me a lot to remember. It's so many platforms. I appreciate all the support. This is Zafir. This is No Love Lost 2.0. One love. Shibbity dop bop bop. I killed you.